What is up, guys? We are here with Michael Paxton of Perth Pro Players. We're coming at you with his deck profile from the weekend's regionals. My man came in playing Dark Broly. He only lost out to me. Let's get into the profile, shall we?
All right, so I think at this point, everyone knows what this leader does, right? Yeah. Pretty ridiculous. Everyone's saying it warrants a ban, and I can understand it, and that's why I'm playing it, because it's ridiculous, right? So the effect, obviously, look at up to 5 cards, place 3 black battle cards with 30,000 power in the drop. Sometimes you whiff, unfortunately. It happened to me a few times, but most of the day, pretty consistent, getting 3, right, which is good.
Denver is always there for you.
Yes, exactly right. And then the backside, you place 3 30Ks from warp into the drop to fuel it back up. Play those 6 costs out for free or get some overwhelm if you need to. And also just the effect of being able to kind of combo pretty much from board as well, like doing the KO, get plus 5k. Absolutely ridiculous across the day. It pretty much makes your board your hand as well when you're going into defense, right? Which is pretty insane. Or if you're going in for game as well on this attack, obviously you can combo up and get it going as well, which is pretty strong. So what we ran, we got 3 Tower. So this is just to search out the ball. I found that, look, you definitely need this card because you need to be able to have more 30Ks in the deck and you need to be able to search out your Dark Dragon Balls. I found that sometimes when you are playing those games, like especially against Violent Rays and things like that, sometimes it's really good just to have the pay 1 energy to grab a card back to hand because it's combo in the next turn, or I guess it's like setting up your 1-drop rollies. Going to the next turn, especially if you can't start swinging, you need to be able to use your energy for something. So it's pretty good in that fact. A lot of the time across the day, I didn't really play it too often, to be fair. It didn't really come up too much. You just want to play 30Ks, 6 drops, just for free, just as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then we run...
Nice turn 1, but not so much.
Yeah,
after
it's
that.
turn 1, that's kind of the ideal. 4 of the Dark Dragon Ball. Look, I like it at 4. I've seen a lot of lists running down to 3. But I just like to see it as much as I can. It's a 5k combo, and it's very easy to recycle with something like this as well. So it's definitely worth, I feel like, running at 4, and especially how much you can cycle the 1-drop rolly as well. It's amazing. So 1-drop rolly, we run 4. I think it's a staple. Has to be at 4, right?
Oh, yeah.
The amount of times you want to recur this across the games, I feel like I recur it a lot, especially with the Gogeta package, which is later on as well. Sometimes it just allows you to fuel that effect, so you can play out your Gogetas by placing them in the drop from this effect, right? Which is quite nice. It just allows you to, I guess, cycle more, go through the deck as well, thin it out, make sure you have what you want in the deck so when you draw it, and it just gives you more chances to play 6 drops. So with the 6 drop, we run 4 of this guy, free. Everything's free, right? It's like free as much as possible. This card is probably the MVP across the day. Just being able to, I guess, take out of the drop, especially in the mirror match, that effect is like huge. Just being able to prevent them from having their 6 drops or maybe even taking their 1 drops out in the early game as well is very, very strong. And it also slows them down from having their 6, which is really good. But I guess negging hand with, for most people across the day, just very, very powerful effect. And especially when you're swinging in with a 30k as well, because you're taking 1 card away from their hand, swinging in with the 30k, making them either use a negate or they're forcing a lot of cards out of hand, which is quite strong as well, right? Then we run...
Like, if your opponent's playing Violent Rays, they've discarded 3 cards.
Correct, exactly right. And that's what I guess you want to do. And like, the good thing about this is like the passive, you don't have to swing to get the effect, which is great, right? So being able to passively just make them warp a card, especially after they Violent Rays or something like that, or Dormant Potential, really, really strong. And you just want to have that as much as possible across the games. We run 3 of this boy. Again, it's free. It's ridiculous. I just really like spot removal as well. It just is really, really strong, especially if you know your opponent's going to play something to set up for their next turn. Very easy just to remove it. So this card, again, probably second best card in the deck, I would say, personally for me. Just being able to play it again for free and then remove something and then swing with a 30k is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
So we run 2 of the blockers. You only really want to use this, I guess, in the aggro matchups, and then also if you just need an extra swing sometimes, which does come up, right? Again, it's a free card for 6. Sometimes you can play out maybe 1, 2, and then this could be like your 3rd guy that comes out, right? So just that extra swing, put the pressure through, either force them to start comboing out a lot of cards, or we can close out the game potentially with this guy. In the aggro matches though, definitely MVP. You kind of prioritize this if you can, get it out, protect yourself with a 30k. Most of the time, they're not going to get rid of it very easily, so you can just protect from a few attacks as well across the game, which is good.
You block with it, they don't kill it, and then you use it as combo power.
Exactly right. This guy, so we only run one of this guy. I really love this card, actually. So I think it's really, really powerful. I don't think you take it any higher, though, because it doesn't obviously have the full effect of being able to play for free. You're going to be playing it most of the time off the one drop. Yes, you can overwhelm. Doesn't really come up too much. But the fact that you can evolve into the 7 for 1 energy is really, really strong. But I always like being able to put 6 cards from the drop, or 6 30Ks, back into warp, again giving you another access to another free guy most of the time, right? Very easily. I found out most of the day no one wanted me to have that effect, so they try to either steal it or take away the effect of Final Flash, which is a little bit sad. I've versed 3 mechas. Every time I song it, that they always Final Flash, but at the end of the day, I kind of use it sometimes to bait that out too, right? Final Flash is one of those cards, you just want to get rid of them as soon as possible because they are very strong, especially if you're going to start going for game on a battle card. So just the fact that you can do that with a card like this, I feel like it's definitely worth going into.
Yeah, comfortable one-of when you can play things from the deck.
Exactly right, exactly right. And then we run 3 of the Evolve as well. So I am not running Heartfelt Plea, so I don't use this, I guess, as a red target in this. I just found that Heartfelt Plea kept clogging up my hand a lot, so I preferred not to use it, right? I think people still fear it no matter what. There's always that feeling that maybe Heartfelt Plea is going to come out, so playing this card out is always really strong. I think the effect as well, if you know they've got a clear board, they have to burn 1, and you probably swung with a 30k that you've also evolved on as well. So technically it's almost like a triple strike in its own right, okay? Because most of the time they're not comboing out of a 30k sting, or if they are, they're using a lot from hand. So I really, really love this card. Most of the time, yeah, I just paid the 2. Obviously, if you're running the Heartfelt Chain, you use the ball underneath the Broly, or with the Broly, and you can go and grab this, right? Which is quite nice from the deck, so if you need it, but I didn't need it throughout the day like that. I just use it for the effect. Now, this is, I guess, like the new addition to this deck. So we run 3 of this Gogeta. So this one removes Ignoring Barrier, energy cost of 4 or less, and it's just a Union Fusion for 1 energy. So we have the Gokus and Vegetas, which are 30Ks as well. This card, very, very strong, and it's also a blocker as well, right?
Strong.
Super strong. The fact that it doesn't have unique as well is pretty ridiculous, right? Now, good buddy Pat tried to play the 3 cost that made me pay energy anytime I tried to use an extra card, so I just removed it straight away with this. So I didn't have to pay for using the ball or anything like that, right? So that's why I really just like this card. Just the fact that you have spot removal and a blocker, really, really strong. And the other thing
Barrier removal.
Yes, barrier removal. And the fact that it almost acts like a gravy where it puts 2 back in the drop as well is very strong. Gets you ratios really nice. Now, we have 3 of these boys. So shout out to Tim and shout out to Sidoti for lending me these cards, because I do not own any of these cards, unfortunately. But these cards are absolutely insane. The fact that you swing a double strike and then able to warp a card off the board, just really, really strong. And once again, puts 2 back in the drop too. So it just keeps fueling up your drop area, means you can get those ratios right. And the good thing is potentially you can do the 2 in 1 turn, right? Only sad thing is this card does have unique, rightfully so though, because it'd be pretty insane if you have more than 1 on the board. But the fact that you can hit these 2 in 1 turn is really, really strong. So I run, and we run 30Ks obviously because we're running Dark Broly, right? So we run 3 of this Goku. Now, I never really used this effect over the course of the day, but it is quite powerful. If you ever need it, to just grab something back. Obviously, very strong effect. And then we run 3 of this Promo Vegeta. So this Promo Vegeta, I really like it. If you don't have access to this, please run the one from the set if you can't find access to it, because you can still run the deck with the one from the set, which is just a rare, still a 30k, still has a great effect, right? But the reason I like this one is because, once again, it's passive warp from hand, okay? So if someone does Violent Raise you or something like that, you can just play this, make them warp another card, right? Making them lose cards without having to swing or force any damage through, always a powerful effect. Most of the time I didn't play it across the day, it was just fodder for this guy just here, right? That's what I want it for throughout the day. And the good thing is they are 30Ks, so you just rip them off the top with your leader effect, which is good as well.
But the best fodder is fodder that has effects if you need it.
Exactly right, yeah. Nothing can be blank in this deck. Now, I'm sure this foiling's going pretty crazy right now, but I only run 2 of this demo card because I only have 2 of it personally. I like it at 2. Most of the time I don't play it, right? Most of the time it is just a flip for a 30k. The only match I really want it in is the red match, right? Or in the green match when they're going to dormant. So what I want to do is I want to swing with this first, force them to warp a card, and then also if they use like a dormant or violent raise on the swing, they're also losing 2 more cards. So it's pretty much losing 3 cards from hand, right? Really strong. That's all I really want it for in this deck most of the time. Or if, you know, some chance it does come up, one person has 1 card in hand, you go off the game. That's always nice too, right?
Oh yeah.
And then we run, so this is the stuff that I guess isn't really the 30Ks anymore. We run 2 double strikers. I definitely think 2 is enough in this deck. I've seen people run 1. I personally always like 2, especially if you're going to try or you have to win on your leader swing, right? You do just want to be able to see this card, right? And then slapping a double strike behind a 30k, 40k double strike, always very strong, right? Always insane. But I just like to be able to find this card when I need it to win off this leader, and especially in the mecha matchup. When they're going to be using Violent Raise, sorry, not Violent Raise, Final Flash, I definitely want to win off the leader just to make sure that damage is going to go through, right? Unless they combo out for some reason. But it's not they're just going to blank the skill and then be fine. So we
Did you personally choose Kai over Champa for the choice of not using the double, or just because they're foils?
Bit of both. I don't mind having the choice, right? I do like to have the choice because sometimes you do just want a 10k combo. I don't think anytime I comboed it, I didn't declare a double strike swing if I was being aggressive. But I just do like it because I have foils. That's the honest truth. For the super combo, self-explanatory, you need it, right? Being able to cycle through the deck, always very strong.
Super strong.
We run 3 of this Kai. Now I really like this Kai. It's super strong. Obviously, if someone has a board established, you negate an attack and then you warp something. So it's pretty much a stop to attack, which I really like. Especially in this deck, sometimes you do just need to slow down or slow their tempo, right, a little bit. So then what you do is if someone's being aggressive, you get those 2 cards. So stop 1 attack, get 1 card off the board, and then you can kind of protect yourself a little bit easier with what you have in board or what you have in hand. And then we run 2 Power Burst. Now I've seen a lot of lists obviously cut this lately. I still like the 2 Power Burst, literally just so I can cycle my 1-drop Broly's, right? It's extra combo, and the fact that I can play this the next turn if I have a ball in hand and then go into another 6 cost as well, I think is very strong. So I really like it for the cycle, and the fact that it's sparking too. Sparking is always nice. If you need to and you're in a pinch, you're tapped out, right? You've always got access to that. Most of the time you have 5 in drop, okay? And then we run 2 of the Marseille. I definitely think 2 is the right number. I know some lists only run 1, right, which I think is pretty crazy. I like to see 2 because then if you do hit 1 off the top, obviously you drop it, it's fine. You're going to probably find the second one over the course of the game. And the effect never really came up. I didn't really use the Overwhelm to place 3 black battle cards back in. But still, just the threat, I think when people see this card, they see 1 energy up, they're going for game, they're always thinking about this in the back of their mind, which is what you want. You kind of want to play that mind game a little bit. They don't know how many you run. Maybe you run 3, maybe you run 4, who knows? So I really like this at 2 personally because I do want to see it and be able to have 1 in hand if I need.
Just such a good bluff tool.
For sure. And then last card in the deck, the card that eluded me most across the course of the day, I swear, Heroine's Lineage, I definitely like this SCR. If you don't have access to it, don't worry, don't play it. You don't need an SCR in the deck. It is very powerful without. I didn't really use it across the course of the day. I think maybe I used it once or twice, right? Out of how many rounds? I think we have 5 rounds, right? Yeah, 5 rounds. I use it once or twice. So it didn't actually come up that often because I didn't see it. Cards is very powerful. Extra protection again on your side, right? Or if you need to and you're rude, like I did, I just stole a card and comboed it off. And it was exactly the 5k I needed to win the game, which was very nice.
It's my favourite just to steal a 1-drop with it.
Just steal a 1-drop, right?
Why not?
And then we go into our side. Now, I run 3 of this Unison, right? I had a feeling that Mecha was going to be pretty dominant, right, in our meta. And this gives us a way to swing under a post. And it also gives us a way to swing at the Vegeta Unison, right? So anyone playing yellow, they're either siding or maining that Vegeta Unison. If they main it, obviously pretty tough times for us. We've got to wait till we get to that 6 energy to really start putting damage through, so we just play the defensive game. But the fact that we can have access to this to either swing into their leaders or swing under a post or swing into their Unison really helps, right? So that's why I side this one. Sometimes I have used the +2 where you just discard the +2 just to get more markers, so then it has more power on the defense as well, right? Sometimes you just have to do it. And then we run...
power in your turn.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
Only
but
power
more
during my
markers,
turn, but
harder
it's
to
more
remove.
markers, so I
Yeah.
can start swinging into them to force damage. And then we have Protect of the People. So this is the aggro matchup, right? If anyone's
Yeah.
going too aggressive, Protect of the People. That means we're a little bit safer. We're getting that plus when they're swinging with battle cards, which is always worth it.
Definitely.
We ran 2 Koizukai. Now this didn't come in throughout the course of the day. I was expecting maybe some like King Piccolo and things like that, where they probably want to be playing things in the defense step a little bit more. Also some Bojack. I was thinking potentially, right? Didn't see any of that, unfortunately. Didn't see any topos either.
Yeah.
So no topos. So this didn't really come in for me, but card is very, very good. Obviously, just across the board, it's a strong card.
Yeah, you just want access to it.
Yeah, so we ran this one. I decided to run this one instead of running, I guess, this is a 1-drop. Just because, once again, if we are versing yellow, if we need an extra attacker that is a 1-cost to swing into like a Vegeta or something like that, this is valuable. And then it also has the whole counter effect, where they have to warp a card if they do use a counter. So it kind of works in 2 ways, I feel like, in this deck, which is quite nice. And the good thing as well is because it's a 5k, you can also use it for the Union Fusion when you super combo.
Yeah.
Right, so that's why I felt like it was maybe a little bit better. This actually didn't really come in across the day. Most of the time I just brought the Unison and also Makikabura in for any time I had to deal with that. So we ran...
Definitely better off in the side than main then.
For sure, yeah, I definitely think it's better inside. And I ran 3 Makikabura. So again, this was mainly for our yellow matchup, so I can swing under the Vegeta, so you put some aggression through, but also obviously having the added effect of I can go and search a ball with it, which is good, so every turn I can grab a ball, add cards to my hand. This is very good in the mirror match as well, right? So usually what I want to do is about turn 3, you want to be dropping this guy, right? Stopping them from being on their 6 drops for a turn, right? And then what I want to do is back it up on the next turn with this guy, so then they can only swing once with battle cards, right? So what I've got is protection across a few turns, right?
Super
so
strong.
You have 1, 2, 3, you're living pretty good, right? So what I did was against a good buddy Tim, I played this turn 3, he played his turn 3, and then I backed it up with this, but he didn't have one like that at all to back up, so I was able to close out the game a little bit more aggressive because I got a full turn of swings where he only got 1 swing in, and it had to matter, right? Which I held a negate to make sure he didn't get that swing that was good.
Yeah.
All
Very
right.
good. Very good.
So there we go, guys. That is the deck profile for that. Look, if you guys like the content, please remember to subscribe, hit that bell. Huge shout out to our sponsors, Team Card Titan. Those guys are awesome. They're running auctions on Facebook, so check them out. Make sure if you're in Australia or New Zealand, or if you need any DBS singles or seal products, check out their website as well. And then shout out to the team, Perth Pro players, absolute bunch of legends. They helped me heaps with the deck. They're always around helping the community out, which I love, so huge shout out to those boys. I hope you guys are enjoying the content as we're going along. It's interesting being in front of the camera rather than behind it for a
Yeah,
while.
it's interesting being on the back side of the camera. My arms are getting tired.
Something a little bit different, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please remember to subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Sweet. See you